Oliver had almost everything: a private apartment, a great job, a luxury car, dining out at restaurants, fashionable clothes. But there was no love. Over a year ago, he divorced his wife after 7 years of marriage. One day, she told him she wanted to live only for herself. No children, no family fuss. She was too good for an ordinary family life, and he was too simple and primitive for her. Yes, Oliver had always been the good one. He valued honesty and integrity. His parents were always proud of him. However, they lived far away in another city, so they rarely got to see each other. Leaving work a little early, he was heading home to take a shower before going out for dinner at a restaurant. Cooking wasn't on his agenda. Suddenly, a thought crossed his mind. What if he broke his usual routine, grabbed some street food, maybe a soda, and just had an unplanned, careless evening? As he approached the food stand, Oliver saw a small boy about 5 or 6 years old sitting on a concrete block, wiping tears from his cheeks. Oliver's heart clenched. He stepped out of the car and crouched down in front of the boy. "Who are you? What are you doing here? Where are your parents?" "I'm Liam Harrington. I'm really hungry, but I don't have any money. My mom was taken to the hospital, and now I'm all alone. I'm scared." "Where's your dad, Liam?" "I don't know. Mom said he left us when I was just a baby." "And how long have you been wandering the streets?" "Second day." "Mister, I have keys, but I can't reach to unlock the door. I've been sleeping in the stairwell. It's so cold, and I'm really hungry." "All right, let's get you something to eat, and then we'll head home. Can you show me where you live?" "Yes, I know. Mom taught me everything." Oliver grabbed some food and took Liam by the hand as they walked toward his apartment. The lock was too high for Liam, so he couldn't open it. Once inside, Liam rushed to the kitchen and started chewing on a piece of bread. Oliver put the bags down on the table. "Here's the plan. You go wash up and change into clean clothes while I prepare something for us to eat." Liam nodded and headed to his room, then to the bathroom with his clothes. Oliver checked on him, asking if he needed help, but the boy, in a grown-up tone, insisted that he was a man and could handle it himself. Later, they sat at the kitchen table eating. Oliver noticed how Liam gulped down the food, barely chewing it. Gradually, the boy had his fill and started nodding off right at the table. Oliver picked him up and carried him to the bedroom, tucking him under the blanket. He took a look around the apartment. It was a small one-bedroom place, but cozy and homely. There were pictures on the dresser, a young woman with Liam. She was beautiful, with delicate, refined features. Walking around a bit more, Oliver wondered to himself, "What am I doing here? Why am I involved in all this?" Then he looked at the sleeping boy and realized he couldn't just walk away. Stroking Liam's head, he took the keys and quietly slipped out of the apartment. He briskly walked to his car and moved it to an open spot closer to the entrance. Then he went back upstairs and re-entered the apartment. Liam was sound asleep. Oliver returned to the kitchen, cleaned the table, and put the groceries away in the fridge. In the hallway, he noticed a notebook by the mirror. After making himself some coffee, he picked up the notebook and started flipping through it. It had Liam's mom's details, as if it were meant for him: her name, birth date, and phone number. He dialed, but the phone was out of service. Then Oliver started calling hospitals, trying to find out which one had admitted Sarah Harrington. He found her. It was an oncology clinic. That news hit him hard. Oliver went to check on Liam, adjusting his blanket, then lay down on the couch and immediately fell asleep. When he opened his eyes, sunlight was already streaming through the windows. Liam was no longer in bed. A small head peeked into the room. "Mister, are you awake? I made us breakfast and warmed up some tea." Oliver washed up and headed to the kitchen. There were unevenly cut sandwiches on the plate. In that moment, they seemed like the best sandwiches in the world. "Liam, I found out where your mom is. I think we should go visit her so she doesn't worry. And you can just call me Oliver, okay?" Liam nodded. After cleaning up, they started getting ready to leave. At the hospital, Oliver and Liam discovered which room Sarah was in. After putting on their shoe covers, they went to see her. When Oliver opened the door, he saw the worn face of a woman with dark circles under her eyes. Upon seeing her son, her eyes widened, and tears began to flow like rain. "My dear boy, I've been so worried about you. You're all alone out on the streets. How did you get here? Who is this man?" "Mom, this is Oliver. He's my friend, and he's really nice. He bought so much delicious food yesterday. I ate a lot and fell asleep, and he stayed with me. Sarah looked up at Oliver. Who are you? Thank you for taking care of my son. I had no one to ask for help. I didn't know where to find him. Sarah, please don't get upset. Stay calm. Liam and I met by chance and became friends right away. Don't worry, I won't leave him. He will stay with me. Focus on getting better, and when you're out, he will come back to you. Sarah started to cry and whispered, I won't be leaving here. This is the end. Since you're a friend, I want to ask you something. In my notebook, there's the address of the orphanage where I grew up and the director's details. If I don't make it, please take Liam there. I've informed the director about everything. She is the only person I can rely on. I have no one else. Sarah, I hope things will change. I'll talk to the doctor and we'll figure something out. Sarah tried to smile. Oliver left Liam with his mom and went off to find the attending physician. I have nothing good to tell you. The situation is critically dire. She has at most a month to live, maybe even less. She's currently on heavy painkillers. Unfortunately, we can no longer help her. Doctor, may I ask you something? I'll pay for everything, but can you transfer her to a private room and make her comfortable for her remaining days? We do have a private room available, but who are you to her? As far as I know, she has no one. I'm just a friend of her son. After finding out what Sarah could eat, Oliver and Liam went shopping. When they returned to the hospital, Sarah had already been moved to a private room. It was spacious and bright. They stocked the mini fridge with juices and fruits, and then set up a hot meal on the table by the bed. Despite the pain, Sarah ate a little to please her son and his new friend. She looked at Oliver with both respect and sorrow, silently praying that this man wouldn't abandon her son. Now, there would be someone to take him to the orphanage. Every day, Oliver visited Sarah, bringing beautiful bouquets of flowers and sharing funny stories. Sarah even perked up a bit. Oliver explained that he had called his mother for help so that Liam wouldn't be alone at home. 3 weeks passed, and a blush returned to Sarah's cheeks. Hope ignited in Oliver's heart. Maybe she would pull through? Filled with hope, he went to see the doctor, but the doctor wouldn't even look him in the eye. All he could say was, "She's fading." Oliver couldn't sleep all night, unsure of what to do. He paced around the room, eventually sitting in the kitchen, sipping coffee. His mother could hear how troubled her son was, but didn't know how to help. She had grown fond of the little boy over these days. In the morning, she saw her son grooming himself in front of the mirror. This surprised her. "Son, where are you all dressed up for?" "Mom, I'm getting married. I've thought about it for a long time, and I realized I'm nobody to Liam, so they won't give him to me. But if I become Sarah's husband, that changes everything. Now I'm going to meet with a friend. You remember, he's a good lawyer. I'll clarify everything, and then I'll see Sarah. Don't miss me too much and prepare a festive dinner." Sarah lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. She had only one thought. What would happen to her son? She understood that time was running out and that she had no close ones left except for Oliver. Yes, Oliver. What a kind heart he had. What a golden man, and how handsome he was. But why was he alone? If only he could be the father that Liam needed, but that just wasn't how life worked. The door opened, and she saw the radiant face of Oliver. He held a huge bouquet of roses and a small box. He approached the bed and knelt down. "Sarah, I've thought about so much. I don't want to take Liam to the orphanage. I want him to stay with me, if you don't mind, but I am nobody to him. Marry me. I've arranged everything. A representative from the registry office is waiting in the hallway. It's the only way. I will become your husband and can pursue adoption. Do you agree?" The woman looked at Oliver as if he were an angel. Her soul was filled with emotions. God, where do such people come from? He has a big heart and will be the best father for my son. Yes, of course, I agree. The entire ceremony took no more than half an hour. Oliver properly placed the ring on his wife's finger. Then he kissed her on the cheek and went to see the doctor. "Doctor, may I take her home? Besides painkillers, you are doing nothing for her. I can give her the injections myself, and my mother will take care of her. Let her spend a couple of days outside the hospital walls." "Okay, I will write down how to take care of her. If things get really bad, call an ambulance." Oliver returned to the room and said, "Well, my wife, we're going home. Enough staring at the ceiling." The nurse helped Sarah get dressed, seated her in a wheelchair, and they went. When Oliver picked Sarah up to place her in the car, he felt she weighed almost nothing. There was barely a spark of life in her. He wanted to hold her close and breathe some life into her body. Unfortunately, that was impossible. That evening, there was a big festive dinner at their apartment to celebrate their marriage. Liam jumped around the apartment with joy. His mother was nearby, along with his best friend and Grandma Lena, whom he liked so much. That night, Oliver barely slept, sitting beside Sarah. She would cry and moan. He would give her injections, and she would fall asleep. In the morning, his mother fed her breakfast, then Liam and Oliver. This continued for 5 more days. Then Sarah's heart could no longer withstand the pain. Oliver felt as though a part of his soul had departed. It was as if he had lost a close relative. At the grave stood 2, a man and a small boy. Behind them stood Oliver's parents and his friends. Oliver held the little boy's hand, as if afraid to let it go. Liam looked up at him. "Oliver, my mom said that you are my dad, that you will always be with me and never leave like Mom?" Oliver crouched down in front of his son and hugged him tightly. "Yes, son, I have been found and will always be with you. And Mom, she hasn't left. She will always be with you, watching over you from above and remaining in your heart. She will always be with us." Liam hugged Oliver tightly around the neck and snuggled close. Then he turned to the photo of his mom and said, "Mommy, don't worry. Dad has been found, and we will always be together. I will take care of him and Grandma and Grandpa. Just come to me more often, and I will tell you how we live. I love you and Dad very, very much." He gently stroked his mother's photo with his little hand and took Oliver's hand. Tears streamed down the face of the adult man. Oliver's life had changed dramatically. Now he had a purpose and a person for whom he had to live. After all, he promised his wife to raise Liam as his own. That's how the story ends, friends. Join the conversation below and share your thoughts on this story. If you found it captivating, share the link with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a new story that will make your heart race. Your support inspires us to create more tales. Take care and see you next time.